Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Batwoman Season 2. Haven't done one of these in a while. This is got in my review for episode 16 for this season, which is the third last episode. We're almost done with Batwoman, and this episode is otherwise entitled Rebirth, and it sort of means three different things. You could argue four, but I'm going to say three. But of course, spoiler it if you've not watched the episode, and if you haven't watched it, if you have watched it, and you're continuing on with the video, be sure to let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. I'm always curious to hear what you guys have to say. And your thoughts going forward, especially in regards to a couple of different things and the Diggle stuff in this episode. And if you go on to enjoy the video, you enjoyed the episode and everything like that, why not drop a like on the video to show support and excitement? I don't know. But in regards to Batwoman, just to recap of what's happened previously, just in case you're not watching it and you're more interested in the Diggle type of stuff that went on, so you can sort of keep track of his journey over these few episodes, because this is the first episode in Diggle's guest appearances this season. The next one is in Legends in 2 weeks, but it's disconnected because it's like a alternate character that David Ramsey, who normally plays Diggle, is playing on Legends. It's not meant to be Diggle, so it shouldn't be connected at the very least. They might somehow try and connect it, but it shouldn't be him, from what we know. So yeah, this is the first one, and I will be doing videos on all the episodes of the shows, even if I might not review the show regularly, in which he appears in, just so we can keep track of his journey, if that makes sense. So we're not too sure whether he appears on Flash or Superman and Lois first after Legends. That's still up in the air, but we should learn that in the next couple of weeks, you'd have to think. But in regards to Batwoman, recently we've had Jacob Kane closing down the Crows just due to some major corruption within them. Luke Fox was shot by one of those corrupted officers from the Crows and pretty much accepted his death. Was glad to sort of move on before being brought back to life with the Desert Rose. And that's a big thing for Luke in this episode. Kate Kane was revealed as alive. However, she's got the face of Black Mask's dead daughter. When I explain it quickly and you haven't watched the show, it sounds weird, but when you actually watch it, it sort of makes sense. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But we do start the episode with Batwoman taking down this threat that's hunting down people. And they were masked, so it's like, well, if they're masked, it has to be some sort of reveal. And we learn later on who it is. But Luke is actually not on post to help. And he's just still dealing in general with the events of the previous 2 episodes. And him pretty much accepting his death as the life he was living, wasn't necessarily one he was one that he didn't see as like overly purposeful, if that makes sense. So he was like not really happy with what was happening there and his current standing in the world and everything like that. But this is obviously setting up his Batwing thing, because it's very important to remember, as I said, this is the third last episode and we know he becomes Batwing before the end of the season. So there's going to be some big progression with Luke over these last 2 episodes after this week, including this episode as well. Now, Safiyah returns, and she's working with Black Mask, which was already sort of in the air, and she requests the use of Cersei, who is Kate Kane, under control. Cersei being the daughter of Roman Sionis that was killed, and the whole brainwash thing has happened, and with a new face and everything like that. So to everyone, she's Cersei, but in reality, she's Kate Kane with some mind control. However, Safiyah is concerned about the fact that Kate and Alice were connected recently, and that could sort of break the control that is there and sort of unlock things, which is a danger, and Roman Sionis had no clue about it. Maybe should have connected with Safiyah before. Maybe just, thrown a lead out there, thrown a line, see what, extra info could come up there, because it would have stopped this completely, but that did not happen. But we learned that the mystery assassin is Tatiana. Obviously, as I said, it was a masked assassin, so it had to be someone that we knew. So she's returned. I thought we'd moved on from not only her, but also, you could argue the Safiyah stuff as well. I thought we'd moved on from that, but I guess they want the 2 sort of storylines or big storylines from the season interconnecting at the end. So it's not a surprise that they're, reconnecting with the storyline in the show right as the season's about to end. So I can understand them doing that, but I thought we'd moved on, but I guess not. Now, Jacob and Alice actually are able to capture Cersei, aka Kate, and are able to test her DNA to prove that she is Kate Kane, with Jacob also meeting Ocean in the process. Now, I didn't think anything massive would happen with Ocean in this episode. I was wrong, but yeah, we'll get to that when it's relevant. Now, Alice plans to use the same process she used pretty much to unlock memories on Kate, photos and everything like that. But slight cracks do appear, and it's pretty much try to free Kate from the prison of Cersei. So Cersei's like the guard, the wall that's stopping Kate from, breaking free and taking control. And they pretty much got to do this before it's too late, because if it gets too much, or if she spends too much time in that control of Cersei, you have to think she pretty much just becomes Cersei full time. Or at least Kate would be unreachable by a certain point in time. Now, Mary is caught off guard by Kate being alive due to the news that they received earlier in the season, which, if you're not watching, one of the Crow's agents, Julia Pennyworth, had said that a part of her skull was found. That's obviously not the truth because she's alive. But Tatiana actually finds Jacob, Alice, and Kate, with Kate actually being able to escape, but luckily and coincidentally running into Ryan, aka Batwoman, who was out in the town just doing her Batwoman stuff. Now, just quickly, I am very interested to see how they finish this season off, because it seems that next episode is very Kane centric. This episode was very Kane centric. I don't know whether, is Ryan still going to be Batwoman by the end of the season? Because I must say, one thing that they have, I think, not made clear throughout this season is that Ryan's the new Batwoman. There's still this question mark of if Kate comes back, does she just become Batwoman again? Because I don't think they've nailed Ryan as Batwoman. Ryan Wilder as Batwoman. I think they've done well with Ryan Wilder as a character. But in regards to her as Batwoman, I'm personally not on board because I just don't think they've written it that well. So I'm interested to see how they wrap up the season and how we go into season 3 and they have everyone on board for Ryan being Batwoman and not having this new Kate Kane return to the mantle. So that's something they have to do really well in these last 2 episodes. But next episode seems very Kane centric, so I'd have to assume it's going to be the season 2 finale the week after that. So it'll be interesting. But in regards to the main reason I'm reviewing this, we had Luke Fox out in the town in Gotham. Just unusual for him. He's still dealing with the after effects of what's happened to him recently, and he does encounter the former agent Tavaroff for the first time since being shot by him. Obviously, the Crow's disbanded, so he's not a Crow's officer anymore. But while he's in there, he also runs into Diggle. Now, Diggle is apparently in Gotham for some work with Argus, and he does notice the tension between Luke and Tavaroff and becomes somewhat involved in it. It's just sort of to get Diggle involved in the story and to sort of build some sort of back and forth between himself and Luke. And I did have a bit of a chuckle when Luke played Tavaroff really well in that game of poker. I was like, yeah, take his money. That's the best way to get back at him. Now, Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, shows his hand completely. Luke and Tavaroff and Diggle are playing poker. Well, Roman Sionis went, well, here's my flush, here's my straight, here's my full hand. When he shows Jacob Kane that, he shouldn't be, he's not scared, by revealing that the GCPD is on the side of Black Mask and Roman Sionis. And this actually leads into Jacob being arrested and also having him revealed to the public, Black Mask does it, but then Jacob sort of has to admit it, that Alice, or Beth, is his daughter, with Jacob sort of pleading the innocent side of her, which Alice obviously appreciates. Now, in regards to Kate, we did have a reunion with herself and Mary, which didn't go to plan. She's like, who the hell are you? But with Sophie, it's a completely different story. It's a ka-ching moment. However, there is this struggle between Kate and Cersei, and Alice is really the key to helping Kate with it. And I think that's specifically what next week's episode is going to be about, is that probably a bit of struggle between Kate and Cersei at the beginning before she fully moves into... I think she'll fully just adopt that Kate personality. I don't think we're going to be waiting around until the finale for that. I think they might deal with that next week. But yeah, Alice is the key to helping Kate gain control, just, through unlocking memories and stuff like that. But in regards to the Diggle stuff, we did have Luke versus Tavaroff on the street, sort of Luke's first round of vigilantism, I guess, or at least, dipping his toe into it, with Diggle coming in to help out, because Luke wasn't winning. Diggle comes in clutch. I mean, Diggle's done it for long enough. He's probably like, this guy, he's easy work. I've dealt with aliens and weird Nazi versions of ourselves. I'm fine with this. But really, Diggle's standout moment in this episode is him talking to Luke Fox about his past, his experiences, and just transfers some of that knowledge and experience over to Luke. And we do see that Diggle is struggling with some head pains, and he doesn't really dive into what that is, but he does say that he's heading to a specialist in the morning in regards to that. Now, I'm not too sure if that's specifically the reason he was in Gotham, because he says it was for Argus work, but maybe he thought, while I'm in Gotham, I'll go see the specialist about what's happening to me. So that's a seed being planted, and I am curious to see how it plays out in the other shows, because I don't know if they planned around the timeline of it, or just each show just deals with some different aspect of it, and then maybe it's revealed later on what's exactly going on, or we get the conclusion of it at a later point. I'm intrigued to see how they did it, because it just really planted a seed there. There wasn't really much Diggle in this episode, and I will talk about it at the end in regards to what I think they're doing and maybe the issues that they probably faced. But back to Ryan, so she trades her Desert Rose plants, which is the last thing connected to her dead mother, which we've seen back from episode 1 of this season. And she trades it in return for Alice in order to help Kate out, with it being revealed that things aren't really as transparent in that transaction with Tatiana out there. And she's up to something. And, Safiya's like, hey, Alice, you can't have it all. And we did have Alice killing Tatiana, but that's not before Ocean is killed. So Ocean has been killed, pretty much, Alice's love. So Alice has just been screwed over. So Alice just can't be happy, can she? She just always has the short stick, or the crappy end of the stick. Never has it that well. Now, one thing I was interested in is Jacob accepts his future in prison, as it's going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to beat his charges with Black Mask pulling the strings. However, he is being transferred to Metropolis, so he isn't living amongst criminals he put behind bars himself. Now, whether that happens or not, I'm very intrigued, because I don't know what they do with Jacob going forward past this season now that the Crows are done. I don't think he'll stay in prison, but if he does, I guess Metropolis allows him to be away from the show. But I don't know what they're going to do because they're going to take down Black Mask, so you have to assume that Jacob Kane gets out. Does he just move on? Or I do wonder whether him and Kate move away. And maybe Alice as well. Maybe him, Alice, and Kate move at the end of the season because they think their time in Gotham is done. There's nothing left for them in Gotham. Maybe that's what happens at the end of the season. That wouldn't surprise me too much, because I think Jacob has to leave the show, because I think plans changed once Ruby Rose left the show as Kate. I think they had other plans for the Crows and stuff like that. But with the way the show is set up now, I don't think the Crows work that well, which sort of screws his character up. So maybe they all move away. Maybe the Kane family of Jacob, Alice, and Kate all move, or Beth, I guess, and Kate all move away. Maybe that's what happens. But speaking of Kate, she does actually escape the eyes of Sophie, who was looking after her, and does go back to Roman Sionis's. And she's just questioning what's going on with her. If I'm Cersei, why am I having all these memories of Kate? Why have specific memories in regards to where she keeps alcohol and stuff? What the hell's going on with Kate actually stabbing Roman's hand in the process, with Safiyah coming in, and there's a truth bomb looking to be dropped. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens next episode. However, this moves into the question mark in regards to where they go from here in regards to the Diggle stuff. So they put some breadcrumbs down. They plant a seed for Diggle that will lead into a bigger story with his head pain, you have to think. And I'm surprised we didn't actually see who he went to see in regards to that, whether it would have been someone that we knew, or a connective tissue later on, or just anything in regards to outside of that situation with him and Luke. They really don't reference too much. I was expecting another scene with Diggle at the very least. They advertised, I thought, okay, there's just going to be more than this, but there was really only 2.5 scenes you could argue with him, maybe 3 at best if you put them together, because some of them were short, quick things. So I am surprised there wasn't more of him. The big excuse I can give them is that it was always going to be hard to make Diggle overly relevant, not only just this episode, but Batwoman in general, no matter where he showed up, as he does know no one on the show. Diggle has not interacted with any of these characters. He's interacted with Kate, but even at a minimal stage. And obviously Kate's not the situation to be... If she can't remember Mary, how's she going to remember Diggle? You know what I mean? So it was always going to be hard to handle that. So I think Batwoman was the most difficult show for them to place Diggle in, by far. With Supergirl, he can do it. Flash, obviously, he's been there before. Superman, Lois, easy. And Legends, it's an alternate character. Batwoman was always the hardest one. So it doesn't surprise me too much there's the least with him in this episode, but at the same time, I thought they might have done more because it was his first appearance. So I thought they might have planted a bit more, or at least teased a bit more. But I don't know. That's just my general thoughts, but I still enjoyed seeing Diggle on the show. Still enjoyed seeing Diggle in Gotham as well. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where that story leads with the head pains and stuff, even though they don't really tell us too much. They just say, hey, there's something there, and let's see where we go with it in the future. But overall, in the specifics to this Batwoman episode, I thought it was a strong episode. Batwoman is sort of going in season 1 route, where it started a bit going and it finished pretty strong. Season 1 probably finished the strongest out of the seasons last season, arguably, out of the shows, might I say. And it's heading that way this season. I think it's finishing off really, really strong. I'm interested to see what happens with the Kane stuff and just how they move into season 3 as well. But yeah, overall, solid episode. And yeah. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it, shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this and everything like that. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.